We all know why we take to the road on days like this.
I like to ride because it puts me in touch with nature and my surroundings. Otherwise, in a car, you're just steering. When I'm riding a motorcycle, you're really doing something.
I ride because it stimulates my senses, especially the day.
Get out and ride with my friends and have some fun.
Right. One way or another, we all do it because we expect to have fun. Even on a day like this, when fall is finally giving way to what looks to be another long Wisconsin winter. What we don't expect to have on this day is a tragedy like the one Bob Bowen will never forget.
I was traveling west out of Tomahawk on Blacktop Road when a deer came jolting out of the woods at full speed and ran into the side of my motorcycle. I was tossed down on the highway, hit my shoulder, actually bounced and turned and rolled down the highway 195 feet. Fortunately, there was some motorcyclists along with me, a car coming. The people got off. Knew enough not to move me. Just to stabilize me where I was, called the ambulance and actually gave me very good care at the scene, because with those type of injuries that I had, there was a possibility of being paralyzed or even death with that type of an accident. But I'm here today to tell about this from the good care I received in the hospital, especially at the scene.
While we're not expecting to encounter anything like what happened to Bob, we must nonetheless be prepared for such misfortune. We all know, for example, that whenever a motorcycle crash does occur, we, because we often travel in groups like this, are most likely to be first on the scene. We also know that just as we take every possible safety precaution to prevent trouble, we must be ready to deal with trouble. We have safety gear to protect us from sustaining injuries. We carry medical supplies to treat injuries. We know what actions and reactions at a crash scene can reduce the severity of injuries and possibly save the life of a fellow motorcyclist. And on this blustery late fall Wisconsin afternoon, we'll need all our preparations for trouble. The tragedy we're not expecting is just around the corner. We are ready for the fear and anxiety that nearly always strike in the wake of a crash, okay? Especially when someone we know and care for is involved. We do our best to keep calm and stay focused on the simple formula we must follow to make the best of the situation. P A C T Hack Prevent injury. Assess the situation. Contact the EMS. The victim with life-sustaining care. Fortunately, there are enough of us here to take on each of the necessary tasks. And the first is to gather and decide who will do what. First of all, someone takes charge of the crash scene safety. The priority here is to see that bystanders at this crash don't become victims of more crashes while help makes its way to the scene. People are dispatched in both directions to direct and control traffic. Passers-by are directed off the roadway so as to leave room for emergency vehicles and police. One person, Vicky, quickly assesses the victim's injuries, checking first for breathing. She stops anyone from removing the victim's helmet, because doing so could cause further injury. Because head and neck injuries should be suspected in all motorcycle crashes. A second person, Sonia, is assigned to hold the head still and help keep the victim, Steve, calm. Another contacts the EMS, in this case by cell phone, to report the crash, the location, the number of victims, and the nature of the injuries so far as they can be determined. The 911 operator is looking for specific information the caller must be prepared to provide.
When that phone rings and I pick it up, there are two things I have to know. Just two important things. I've got to know where you are, and I have to know what's happening. It sounds simple enough, but with the 911 systems we have today, if you call from a 911 phone at somebody's house, I know exactly where you are. If you call from a 911 cell phone somewhere from an accident scene, I have no idea where you are. The second thing I have to know is what is wrong. Is it just a broken arm? How many people are involved? Is it blood that cannot be stopped? So I need to know how severe, how many people, and where you are. But you must know where you are.
Back at the scene, Vicky proceeds to assess for severe bleeding. She knows that a broken bone, like the one that's broken through the skin in Steve's leg, can sever an artery and create a life-threatening situation. Sharon treats it by controlling through applying pressure to the femoral artery. Next, Vicky assesses for shock. She keeps Steve as still as she possibly can, and knowing that just because she can't see obvious outward signs of serious injury other than Steve's leg doesn't mean there aren't any. Suspected head injury victims, in fact, and Steve may be one, must be watched very closely to make certain they are breathing properly.
Okay, watch for his breathing, Sonia. Just make sure. I mean, if he quits moaning like that.
Vicky, Sonia, and Sharon take on the important responsibility of staying with Steve and keeping him talking, although his serious injury doesn't appear to be life-threatening, neither Vicky nor Sharon is assuming that all is well. They continue to guard Steve's safety, reassure him, and keep an eye out for clues that may indicate a bigger problem.
We want you to talk to them, ask them some questions. When was the last time you had anything to eat or drink? Do you have any allergies? Are you on any medications? Who is your local doctor? Is there anybody that we can notify? If the patient is unconscious, we still want you to talk to them. By talking to them, it relaxes the patient. The hearing is the last thing to go. So by talking to a patient,
Who's your doctor?
it can keep them from going into shock.
Okay.
From the onset of this emergency, all of Steve's fellow riders, the first to arrive on the scene, as motorcyclists usually are, have kept their focus on the formula and 4 tasks that will assure the best possible outcome from such an incident. P, A, C, prevent further injury. Assess the situation. Contact the EMS. Treat the victim with life-sustaining care. And now professional help has arrived, so Vicky and Sonia step aside and let them do their jobs. They both stand by, though, because they know the EMTs may need them for assistance or for information.
Once we're on the scene and we're taking care of the patient, please don't leave. we need from you is all the information that you have obtained from the patient. Once we have this information, it is very important that you step back. We may need your help longboarding the patient, putting them into the ambulance, and getting some more information. Please don't leave until after you're told to do so by the EMTs or the police. And we appreciate any help that a first aider or bystander can do for us.
So this day that began with expectations of fun and enjoyment for everybody, wound up as one on which we all had to pitch in and rescue a friend from tragedy. Our efforts at the very least saved Steve from worsening the injuries he suffered in the crash. And if it should turn out that he has neck or spinal injuries, then we might very well have saved his life. We were able to do this because we were prepared for the unexpected. We knew that when motorcyclists have crashes, the most likely people to be there to help are other motorcyclists. Are you ready to help one of your friends? Are they ready to help you?